Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more boxing. I got a lot going on, so there should be some fun stuff on the channel. I got some hats that I'm going to be selling. I just got to figure out some of the logistics, do a photo shoot with all the colors and stuff like that. But here's a sample photo of it. I posted on Instagram the other day, so we're working. I was at the fights in Fresno. Well, actually, it was in Lemoore. It was a top-ranked card. I got some great stuff from that, and we just working. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Now, as you've seen in the title, Jermall Charlo is now rated with the WBC. Dun, 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 in at number 2. He's the number 2 ranked middleweight. Now, I did a video a couple weeks ago when it first dropped that Jermall Charlo was vacating his IBF belt. He did that, and this is the great thing about boxing is there's always a chain reaction, like a chain of events. So Jermall Charlo, he stayed around at 154 long enough to beat his mandatory, and he had complained even before that about having difficulty making the weight, but people kind of put the pressure to him and said, no, you got to fight the mandatory, or otherwise you're scared and you're ducking. So he said, okay, whatever, I'm gonna fight him. Signed the fight. Richard Schaefer's first fight back into boxing with Ringstar Promotion, his first big card, and Charlo got the knockout, and he knocked down J-Rock with I think it was a jab, if I'm not mistaken, and then he hurt him very bad with the uppercut, sick ass counter uppercut, and then he was able to close the show right after that. So hell of a performance, and he put his stamp on the division. You can move up in peace now. You beat your mandatory. Now your body needs a break, and you want to move to middleweight. He's like 6 feet, 6'1", whatever height he is. So that's fair. Now he is number 2. So this is interesting because we got a big fight, a middleweight fight this weekend. It's fight week, Golovkin versus Jacobs. And Golovkin is the man right now from Kazakhstan. He's the man at middleweight. So Jermall Charlo is pretty much a step away from becoming the mandatory for Golovkin, or if Jacobs beats him, Danny Jacobs, which are both great fights. Golovkin versus Charlo or Jacobs versus Charlo. I literally have no problem with either of those fights. Definitely like Jermall Charlo at 140. You still got his brother at 54 who can hold down the family name and make some good fights. He's supposed to fight Charles Hatley, but there's some other fights I want to see, like Charlo versus Erickson Lubin, which may come into fruition. Charlo versus Jared Swift-Hurt. Demetrius Andrade just won against Jack Kukale, split decision. So there's some action now, and I'm liking it. As far as, just to put this out there, as far as the WBC rankings, and really all the sanctioning bodies rankings, I am not certain how this works. They have Golovkin as the champion. The number 1 mandatory is Jorge Sebastian Hyland. This is a picture, a snapshot or screenshot from the WBC's website. So Jorge Sebastian Hyland from Argentina, he's been Golovkin's mandatory for a while, and I want to say even before Willie Monroe fight, and he hasn't got his opportunity. I don't know how some of this stuff works. I don't really know who Jorge Sebastian Hyland is, but obviously within the WBC ranking system, he's done what he's supposed to do to become that. He fought who he needed to fight. Now he's the number 1. And then you have Jermall Charlo. So I don't know how it works, because this is what we see all the time. Like, Jermall Charlo hasn't had one fight at middleweight, but he's ranked at number 2. So I don't know how that works. But I've always seen stuff like this happen. Amir Khan, he left 140. He got knocked out by Danny Garcia, and then I think he fought Carlos Molina at 140, and he moved up shortly after that to welterweight, and then they had him ranked number 1 or 2 at welterweight with no welterweight fights within the WBC. So I don't know how it works, to be honest. I don't know what the protocol is or the standard for the WBC, how they rank someone who hasn't had a fight in that division. The only thing I can think of, just off of common sense, would be based on it's like a forecast, or based on the quality of the I was gonna say employee, but the quality of the fighter based on their previous division. Maybe they just kind of forecast and be like, oh, hey, this guy deserves this ranking because he's undefeated at 54 and he's moving up to 160 as an undefeated fighter coming off a great win. So I don't know, maybe it's something like that. I don't know exactly how it happens with a fighter not having had a fight in that division that he's being ranked for. So I'm sure they have something. I don't know what they compute his knockouts based on his work in his past division, and then now that he's in the new division, maybe they just assess and determine where he belongs. But nonetheless, I'm okay with it because I like it. Now, this is my advice for Jermall Charlo. I think he needs to get the ball rolling and pick up a fight ASAP, right? Just get a feel for the division. You're coming off of a great showdown in December versus Julian Williams. Get the ball rolling for middleweight, because if Jacobs beats Golovkin, he's the man. If Golovkin beats Jacobs, he's the man. And I don't think you want to slide into that mandatory position and you have the ability to potentially get that big fight, but you haven't had any tune-ups or any fights in the new division. I would definitely recommend, before you fight a Jacobs or a Golovkin, getting a few in the can, like 1 or 2 at least, you know what I mean, to get a feel for the division, see how guys are hitting. There's a lot of fights that he could, like, you know what I mean, Hugo Centeno Jr., Matt Korobov, Curtis Stevens, David Lemieux winner maybe, like Hassan Indam. I would try to fight one of those dudes. Willie Monroe Jr., try to fight one of those dudes to get acclimated, and then by the time the WBC orders an eliminator, they might do an eliminator between Jermall Charlo and Jorge Sebastian Hyland, the number 1 and number 2 guys, winner face off against the Golovkin Jacobs winner. Or they might, I don't know, they maybe just give Sebastian Hyland a mandatory shot to Golovkin Jacobs winner. I don't know, but I think that that Charlo should definitely start his middleweight career and just stay active, get a fight in, see how you feel, move up the ranking. So by the time you do become the number 1 mandatory, or they announce a WBC eliminator, you're fully ready and you have some experience in the new division to compete with Golovkin Jacobs winner. But that would be a big fight. That's a hell of a fight. I like Charlo. I think there's certain attributes that he has that makes any of these fights, as long as he carries his power, which, I mean, the way he destroyed J-Rock, who seems Philly tough to me, I think his power should carry up because he has long arms, he has the frame, and he was probably killing himself to make weight. And sometimes when you do that, sometimes your power is actually not as good as what it should be, because you're depleting sometimes muscle mass to make weight, you know what I mean? Or you're killing yourself so your energy's not where it should be. But if you give yourself a break, you might actually be fresher. So this could be, you know what I mean, Charlo could end up being a monster at middleweight because he's more comfortable. You have to look at it too from the life of a boxer. Some of this is based on, or a lot of it, like 99% I would say, is based on how you feel mentally, you know what I mean? Guys like Floyd Mayweather, he's confident mentally. He's confident in his ability mentally. And that's, a lot of this is psychological in boxing. So if you're killing yourself to make weight towards the end of your training camp, you're probably not going to be a happy camper. You're not going to be the happiest person because you can't eat what you want. You have to sit in the sauna. You have to run some more miles on the treadmill. Your body is starting to dehydrate and damn near eat itself. So, you know what I mean? Giving yourself a break with the weight cut definitely could enhance your overall spirits, and that does have something to do with how you go into a fight. You know what I mean? I've seen guys at weigh-ins, they look miserable. They're like, fuck this, I can't wait to eat. You know what I mean? That's all they're thinking about. I can't wait to drink some Pedialyte or Gatorade or whatever their team drinks. So I like it. Charlo's a good fighter. I think he just needs to get the ball rolling for his career at middleweight and be ready, you know what I mean? Be ready, because you might be next up for Golovkin, or you might be next up for Danny Jacobs in the near future, and that's a fight I would definitely pay to see or like to see. And like I said, I think certain things, like if Kell Brook was launching uppercuts and it was lifting Golovkin off the ground, then you wouldn't want to get hit with Jermall Charlo's uppercut, because to me, Jermall Charlo has longer arms, and he delivers it. That was a counter uppercut, so that you have to deliver it with some timing, some accuracy, and a level of swiftness. And I'm not saying Kell Brook doesn't have athleticism or whatever, but it's different to be in the pocket and land an uppercut versus someone punches you and you time it and counter them with an uppercut. So shout out to Ronnie Shields, because his fighters, Edislani Lara and Jermall Charlo, are both winning their last fights, the Yuri Foreman fight and the Julian J. Rock Williams fight, with counter uppercuts basically. So I don't know what the hell he's teaching them in Texas, but it's working. So those are interesting fights. I will, you know what I mean? For Golovkin, again, I want to see if he would fight someone like a Charlo, just because Charlo is athletic. If Charlo could take a punch, then that could be a barn burner. Same thing with Danny Jacobs. I don't even know who's taller off of Jermall Charlo. I've met both of them, but I can't remember. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty tall myself, so I'm taller than both of them. But it's a good fight, man. That's what it boils down to. So you guys heard it. Jermall Charlo ranked number 2, maybe an eliminator, maybe not. Maybe Jorge Sebastian Highland gets the Golovkin Jacobs winner. But middleweight starting to shape up. Some good fights that could be made on the horizon. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.